Like, he has knee problems.
Yeah.
Like, he's recovering from ACL surgery.
Just a really bad camera angle.
Yeah.
Who decided to rotate it that way?
I don't know. I don't really have any good Vindicate puns, do you?
No.
No? Alright, we have access to 2, we run both. Moving on. No Mercy, an enchantment. Whenever a creature deals damage to you, destroy it. If you get this out early enough against any aggro deck, or any deck just, looking to bash with creatures, well, they're going to lose their creature every time they hit you, so it's kind of hard for those decks to win with this out. They got to pretty much hit your entire life total in one.
But not loss of life, just damage.
Damage. This is damage. It's a creature. Whenever a creature deals damage to you, destroy it. So even like something like a Goblin Fireslinger, or a Prodigal Pyromancer, you tap it to do 1 damage to a player, this will still kill it. It doesn't say combat damage, just says straight up damage. So usually one of my favorite Demonic Tutor targets, depending on the matchup. Gotta run 2 Silent Libraries.
What the
Silent Arbiter. Pretty much only 1 creature can attack or block per combat phase. So, like I said, it'll shut down the Goblin's deck pretty good. Odric's deck pretty good. You can only attack 1 at a time. He is a 1/5, kind of hard to actually kill. So, buys you some time. Obviously not going to win the game for you on its own, but you're looking to stall out till you start dropping your bombs and then you take over. I do not know what's going on with him. It kind of just looks like someone found a scarecrow out in a field and just hung their laundry
on it? Yeah,
just to dry.
That's what it looks like. Or they wanted to make the scarecrow look scarier. A scarier crow.
I mean, I can't even, look at his face.
He's
like
the scariest crow.
He looks like some anorexic-ass grimace.
I don't know what he's doing.
Alright, we have 1 of Sublime Archangel. Do not know if it practices Santeria, if you're into that band. But it's still a really good card. It says, other creatures you control have Exalted. If for whatever reason you don't know what Exalted means, whenever a creature attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1. And a creature can have 2 instances of Exalted on it. So say you have this and one of those Knights out. When you swing with 1 creature, you'll get 3 Exalted triggers. 2 from the Knight, 1 from this.
That's your best Sublime joke?
That's really my only Sublime joke. I mean, they're alright. But, I don't know, what kind of Sublime joke do you have?
I don't know, what was the first thing you said? I don't...
It's like the only song I remember is Santeria. I don't know. Do you remember any songs?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's hear these songs. She obviously doesn't. She's just here to heckle people. We're trying to do serious business magic strategy. Anyways, moving on. We have Worship, another enchantment meant to totally screw over your opponent. If you control a creature, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. Now that's damage, not loss of life. We went over this. And there's a nice little Leonardo DiCaprio and Titanic pose going on there. And
I guess.
we got 20 creatures in the deck, so this is usually pretty good most of the time. Obviously, you don't want to Demonic Tutor for this, like against a removal heavy deck, but if you're playing, against, Garrick, or the blue decks or something, even though the blue decks really aren't going to hit you too much, they win through other shenanigans. It's a pretty good one to get with Demonic Tutor. Moving on, Battle Grace Angel, 4/4 flyer for 5. I don't really have any smart mouth remarks about this one. It's
Battle Grace?
Battle Grace, maybe it should have been black. It should have been Battle Grace Jones Angel. That would have been far, far better. But it's just Battle Grace. There's no Battle Will Angel, unfortunately, just Battle Grace. So whenever you attack alone, basically it gives your creature lifelink. This is good to drop, you know, when you start hitting the late game, taking some damage, you know, get some life back and eventually put your opponent away. Battle Grace. We run both Deathbringer Lieges. Gives your white creatures +1/+1.
This guy.
Gives your black creatures +1/+1. If your creature happens to be both white and black, then it'll get +2/+2. Thereby leading credence to half-breeds are the best.
Or that guy from Snake Island.
Yeah, there's this movie called Snake Island.
It's awesome.
It's about snakes on an island. It might actually be better than Snakes on a Plane, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of gratuitous nudity, which when you're watching a movie like that, like you see
at 3 in the morning.
You know, not to be all like super sexist or anything, but when you see an actress in one of those movies, my first thought is that girl better show her tits. But enough about
I started getting impatient. I was like, come on, God.
And they did show their tits.
Oh, yes.
There was a lot
Not
of
a
that.
whole lot.
But, I don't know.
It was modest nudity.
Some nipples got bitten from what I remember. Then again, it was 3 in the morning and I was tired.
Yes, you were.
But it also has the added ability, whenever you cast a white spell, you may tap target creature. Whenever you cast a black spell, you may destroy target creature if it's tapped. If you happen to cast a spell that's both black and white, which there are numerous of those in this deck, you get to tap the creature and then destroy it. The game will actually let you order your effects properly, which is a big improvement over last year.
I feel like I'm on an airplane and you're telling me where my safety belt is.
Oh. Well, it's in your seat.
And where the exits are.
The exits are where the signs say exit. Divinity of Pride, another one of our sort of finishers. Flying, 4/4 flying lifelink. So again, this is black and white, so if you have a Deathbringer Liege out, it'll actually be a 6/6. And it gets additional +4/+4 as long as you have 25 or more life. Not too much to say. You'll usually get to finish the game for you once you remove all your opponent's other stuff out of the way. Moving on, we have the deck's namesake legend, Neferox, Overlord of Grixis.
No comment.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say.
She's waiting for it, because, yes indeed, you can read the words there, he does indeed rocks. And that's some more eye-rolling over there off camera. Well, another 5/5 flying Exalted, whenever he attacks alone.
Getting some
You're
whipped cream.
getting some whipped cream. That has no relevance to the topic at hand. Whenever he attacks alone, defending player sacrifices a creature. Basically, if you untap with this, you've gotten your value. And he will just win the game on his own until he's removed. Next, we have Angel of Despair. It's basically Vindicate for 7 mana, but it comes with the 5/5 flying body. I find this pair of things to be good. How about you? She doesn't play Magic. She has no idea what I'm talking about. And again, you know, 5/5 flyer. It'll get the job done eventually. And the last card in the build is the Debtor's Knell. Normally I don't like enchantments, but if you ever untap with this enchantment, it's basically a rise from the grave at the beginning of your upkeep. Every time, every turn during your upkeep, you get a free rise from the grave. So, kind of hard to lose once you have this in play, unless you're a real terrible player. And this art's actually kind of cool. Like, it's just stepping out of a...
Sorry.
Like, I don't know, a portal of gelatin. It's still...
That makes it so it's not so cool.
I think that's really cool, actually. So that's...
A portal of gelatin.
Yeah. I don't know. It's better than some other portals. Gelatin. It's alright. So now we're going to go over the cards we're not running. Again, most people build this as the aggro build. They just run all the little 1/1s, 0/2 exalted guys, and just hope they get there by flooding the field and just having 10,000 annoying exalted triggers. But what we're excluding is Cathedral of War. 1, it enters the battlefield tapped. 2, it only provides colorless mana. The little exalted bonus on a land is nice in theory, but in a control deck we want to always be hitting our land drops so we can cast our spells on time. And this doesn't really help with that. So, no thank you. Sigil of Distinction. I don't know. What are you distinguished from? Like you're...
It's like that fucking thing.
Are you
from
a champion
Breaking Bad,
a champion bird watcher? That's not a sigil of distinction.
The whatever it
Talking
was.
about Don Eladia's
Yeah,
necklace.
that's what that is.
I don't think that was a sigil. I just think that was an expensive ass platinum
Accessory.
necklace. Yeah.
An accessory.
So this enters with X charge counters on it, so you cast it for 10. It has 10 charge counters on it. To equip it, you gotta remove a charge counter. So if you cast it for 10 and equip it, your creature has +9/+9. It's a good card, but I don't really like equipment in controllish builds because 1, you already need a creature out. And 2, if you don't have a creature out, then this is just doing nothing. I mean, not quite as bad as auras, but it sort of is. So, we don't need it.
Don't need it.
Another card I'm not crazy about, a Grayson Squire. It's just a 1/1 exalted.
Stop with that joke. It's not
Well,
funny.
I don't think there's any more crazy cards, and
Good, because it's not funny.
then why are you laughing?
I'm not
You
laughing.
are trying your best not to laugh. You know it's good. Again, when we're going for a more controllish build, 1/1s are not really what we want. They're not slowing down anything.
What is that? Scar in the upper right hand corner? Is that some kind of lion?
Whoa, I never noticed that. That is indeed Scar.
Scar?
Like spliced with an armored brontosaurus.
Be prepared.
Don't you remember that song? Yeah, I don't know what else to say. That's Scar.
Does that make you want that card?
No, we're not running
Come
it.
on.
We're not running it. So we're not running any of the 4 duty bound dead. Another 0/2 for 1. Now, some people have told me, but it's a great stall card because it can regenerate. It regenerates for 4 mana. Alright? If you ever get to a point where you have this out, and then you have 4 mana, what are you going to do? Leave 4 mana up every turn to block 1 ground creature? That seems productive. That is not true. That is not very productive. Moving on, seize the initiative. This is a terrible combat trick. Like I guess it's an okay combat trick, but in this deck, like especially if you're running the aggro version, like your guys are already going to be so much bigger than their guys. So why would you need to give it +1/+1 in first strike? I do not understand. Unless you're some kind of furry and
Please,
just really like
you really want to bring this up again?
the furries?
No, you.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Why don't you explain to the audience what you're trying to get at?
Do you really want me to bring up the cat treats?
Cat treats? I don't need cat treats. Anyways, terrible combat trick. Like, you don't even need combat tricks in this deck.
But you do need cat treats.
Yeah, cats like cat treats. I'm not a cat. Tormented Soul, 1/1, unblockable, but it can't block. So again, why do you want creatures in this build that can't block? We get our offense on later in the game. We don't need to aggro out.
Are
So
they funny?
Tormented Souls?
Do they have some kind of, like...
They're fucking tormented.